You're listening to the Broken Havoc podcast on YouTube, where we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the frickin' referee would say, ring that damn bell for more notifications. What's up, everybody? It is Broken Havoc here, right here on the Broken Havoc podcast, here to review AEW Dynamite from December 29th, 2021. It is New Year's Smash. It is the final AEW Dynamite on TNT before they move to TBS next Wednesday night. Rampage will remain on TNT, by the way. It's only Dynamite that is moving to TBS. But what are my thoughts on this show? First off, it's great seeing AEW back in Daly's place, in my opinion. I think AEW being in Daly's place is just really fun to see. You know, they've been there throughout the entirety of the pandemic era, and we're technically still in the pandemic era of wrestling, but it's great seeing Dynamite, the last Dynamite on TNT, being in Daly's place. You know, seeing CM Punk for the first time in Daly's place is actually awesome to see. But I will say this, there were things on the show that I really didn't like. For example, Jade Carguil, I thought wasn't the right decision for her to advance to the finals of the TBS Championship tournament. I'll explain that later on in the review. But we have Jim Ross back on commentary again, so there's a lot of things that went down on the show. Of course, we have an undisputed reunion with Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Adam Cole. The Undisputed Era, I should say, are back together. The original three members of the Undisputed Era, of course, Roderick Strong is in NXT still. But it's great seeing them. Of course, they wrestled in the main event against the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. That was a really, really fun match. But I'm going to be talking about Dynamite. Overall thoughts, again, it was a pretty good show. Not the best show in the world, not the best Dynamite, but it was still a pretty good show in my opinion. 100% better than Raw. I will say that. It was 100% better than Raw. The show starts off with Jim Ross returning to the commentary booth. So there's a huge standing ovation for good old JR, Jim Ross. He announced actually the day of the show that he is cancer-free, so that is freaking awesome to see. You know, Jim Ross is arguably my favorite commentator of all time, you know, alongside Mike Tenay. He's another one of my favorites. You know, it's great seeing Jim Ross back in the commentary booth. Not only that, him announcing that he is cancer-free, so now he can get back on the microphone doing what he does best, and that is call a damn good wrestling match. But, yeah, Jim Ross is on commentary along with, of course, Excalibur and Tony Schiavone. The first match of the evening is Jurassic Express and Christian Cage and the Lucha Bros going up against FTR, Private Party, and Matt Hardy. So we got a 10-man tag team match. Honestly, I'm not really that big of a fan of 10-man tag team matches, to be quite honest with you. But, you know, the main reason why I'm not really that big of a fan of 10-man tags, especially if you get multiple like 10-man tags on one show. Like I can remember multiple times during when AEW was in Daly's place last year during the pandemic that the card on Dynamite would have multiple multi-man matches, and I'm like, you know, these matches are good and they're fun to watch, but at the same time it's just a little bit too much. And thankfully AEW has dimmed down on that. And I mentioned this before on my previous Dynamite reviews. But we got a 10-man tag team match to start off the show. I thought it was a really good match. You know, each wrestler had their own specific like showcase on the match. I felt like the MVPs of the match were definitely the Lucha Bros. The Lucha Bros were freaking awesome. As always, the Lucha Bros are amazing, especially Phoenix. Phoenix is arguably one of the best wrestlers in the world, one of the best luchadors in the world. So that is great to see. But Cash Wheeler and Christian Cage start the match. We get a kill switch attempt by Cage. Now, granted, when I'm going through these notes, keep in mind I may miss a couple of spots there and there, considering the fact that there was just a lot of things going on at the same time during this match. And that is one of my other gripes when it comes to multi-man matches, that it's really tough for me to take notes, especially like watching a multi-man match, especially when I'm taking notes on a particular match and like basically writing down the notes of everything that went down. It's really tough to really get all that down because of the fact that there's just so much shit going on. But, you know, it's still fun to watch. So we get Cage with repeated rights. Jungle Boy tags in. We get a couple of chops in the corner by Jungle Boy. Both exchange shots. We get a shoulder tackle by Dax. Then we get a right forearm by Jungle Boy. Cage tags in. We get an uppercut by Dax. We get a kick by Cage. Then we get a right hand by Cage. Then Jungle Boy tags in. Then he tries to apply the snare trap after that. Isaiah Cassidy then tags in. Penta then tags in as well. The Lucha Bros double team on Isaiah Cassidy. Private Party proceed to work on Jungle Boy after that, but Jungle Boy throws Cassidy on the outside. Then we get a side effect by Matt Hardy on Jungle Boy. Then Hardy works on Jungle Boy. Then FTR catapults Jungle Boy in the corner. Hardy at this point is the legal man. Hardy then hits he applies a side headlock on Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy then hits a lariat. Penta at this point is the legal man in the match. Penta goes for a series of sling blades in the match. We get double thrust kicks by both Phoenix and Penta. Then we get a double DDT, by Penta on FTR. Phoenix then hits a senton off the top on Mark Quinn, which looked sick. Again, Phoenix is underrated. I don't even want to say underrated. He's amazing at what he does. Again, he's one of the best luchadors in the world. And honestly, I would love to see a match between him and Rey Mysterio. I don't know. I just think that match would just be flat out amazing. So we get a cover and a near fall. Mark Quinn is on the top. We get a DDT by Quinn. Then Dax is legal. Then he works on Phoenix. We get a cover and a near fall. Dax hits a slam. We get a cover and another near fall. Phoenix and Dax at this point are on the top. We get a springboard moonsault by Rey Phoenix on FTR. Luchasaurus then tags in. He takes out basically everyone. He plants Cassidy to the mat. He takes Cassidy to the outside. Then the same goes for Quinn. Then FTR regain control. Luchasaurus then counters. Then takes Dax and then chokeslams him. Penta then tags himself in. Penta then hits a backstabber. We get a cover and a near fall. Luchasaurus then takes out everyone on the outside. Then Phoenix takes everyone out on the outside as well. So does everybody else. Then it looks like near the end of this match, Pentagon and Christian have a little bit of turmoil during the match. Then FTR hit their finisher, and then the heels win the match. So there's a lot of turmoil going on when it comes to Phoenix and Pentagon. Not Phoenix and Pentagon, Christian and Penta. So we later find out that they will the Jurassic Express will face the Lucha Bros for the tag team titles next week on TBS. But overall thoughts on this match: it was a really good match, but again, not really that big of a fan of like 10-man tags where it's just so crowded and there's just a lot of things going on that you really can't keep up with a lot of things that are going on. But it was still a fun match to watch. But overall thoughts, I thought it was a pretty good match. We get Eddie Kingston teaming up with Santana and Ortiz going up against 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. So these guys have been feuding for like the past few weeks. Again, this was a really good match. This was a 6-man tag instead of a 10. But again, we had a 10-man tag and then we had a 6-man tag to follow up on that. Again, those multi-man matches, although they're really fun to watch, AEW sometimes needs to dim it down a little bit with those multi-man matches because then, again, it's just too much to take in, you know what I'm saying? That's my opinion. But the match starts. Matt Lee works on Kingston. Kingston fights back. We get a back suplex by Kingston. A brawl breaks loose on the outside by everyone. Jeff Parker tags in. We get repeated rights by Parker on the top. Then Ortiz tags in. We get a side headlock by Jeff Parker. Then we get a drop kick by Ortiz. We get a cover and a near fall. Santana tags in. Ortiz hits an enziguri, which looked sick. Then we get a double team attempt by Santana and Ortiz. Daniel Garcia is the legal man. Ortiz is in control. Then Ortiz hits the Three Amigos, which a nice little tribute to Eddie Guerrero right there. Then we get a chop by Ortiz. Then Kingston bites the head of Garcia. Both Santana and Ortiz plant Garcia to the mat. Garcia then hits a shotgun dropkick on the apron on Ortiz when Lee slides him out. Once we're back from commercial break, we get a waistlock by Garcia. Then we get a shotgun dropkick by Ortiz. Kingston tags in. He takes out everybody. We get a couple of chops on Garcia in the corner. Then we get an exploder by Kingston. Garcia at this point retreats. Then Santana tags in. We get a high boot by Santana on Lee. Both Ortiz and Santana work on Matt Lee. Then we get a roll-up by Matt Lee when holding on to the tights. And 2.0 and Garcia win the match. So that finish was really similar to a match that they had a couple weeks ago on Rampage when, of course, Daniel Garcia had the tights on Eddie Kingston. And it was kind of a shocking finish to me, in my opinion. And, we had something similar right here that happened in this match. So there's a lot of crazy things going on, and I don't think this feud is over yet. But after the match, they proceed to attack Santana. Garcia has the bell, and then he hits the bell on Santana. And then all of a sudden, what happens? Chris Jericho comes back. So, yes, Chris Jericho is finally back. And he cleans house. He brings in Floyd, his baseball bat. And he tries to help Kingston at this. So, he tries to help Santana. But Eddie Kingston just comes in and he's just so pissed off at Chris Jericho. And then both Kingston and Jericho face off. And again, a little bit of tension going on between Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston. Where do I think this will lead to? Honestly, I definitely do see a match coming. I would love to see a match between Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston. I think that would be an awesome ass match. Where is this going to lead to? I honestly have no idea. Of course, they've been telling the story that Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston are not really friends, and Eddie Kingston doesn't really want the help of Chris Jericho. So honestly, I do not know where this is going to lead to, but I'm definitely excited to see what goes down later on. Here's a backstage segment that I really enjoyed. MJF with Shawn Spears and Wardlow backstage. MJF, again, this guy is a freaking star in the making. He is going to be a top star, and he's going to be a mega star in the next couple of years. I guarantee you that. And they're teasing MJF basically wanting to be AEW World Champion. So he cuts a promo. He basically puts himself over by calling him the biggest ratings draw in all of pro wrestling. He talks about unsafe working conditions and says last week he was thrown over the top rope in horrible fashion by Sting. Says that this wouldn't have happened in a more professional wrestling company, but that conversation needs to be had as we get closer to the bidding war of 2024. So, dude, MJF is dead ass hyping his own hype. Like, I'm being straight up, and you know what? All to it, that is freaking awesome. Because once 2024 comes along, there is 100% going to be a bidding war for MJF. Because we hear reports that WWE and Fox really want MJF. But, of course, AEW has MJF locked in a contract until 2024. So we're going to see what goes down, but there's 100% going to be a bidding war for MJF in 2024. And you know what? MJF is really out here predicting the future. So that's really good to see. He talks about Punk and says he claims he wanted a piece of him and he is a man of the people, but yet the people want to see him go out there more than anything, but he refuses to give it to them. He stayed away from him the entire match. MJF says he's over it and says Punk is yesterday's news. He was a distraction for him. It was a distraction for him to hold AEW gold. And then proceeds to tell Wardlow that he basically needs to stop powerbombing everybody in this match. Of course, Wardlow has been a jobber squasher for the past couple of weeks because he's basically getting put over like $1 million and powerbombing everybody. Now, again, during those matches, I've stated in my previous Dynamite reviews that this is definitely going to lead to Wardlow splitting off from the Pinnacle and really going out on his own, which I think is the right decision in my opinion. But continuing on with this segment, he says that he needs to stop powerbombing people and he needs to be focused on getting wins so he can qualify for the Face of the Revolution ladder match, which is the ladder match that happens every year at Revolution, where the winner faces the TNT champion. And MJF basically states that he knows that Wardlow will win the TNT championship, but when he wins the title, he's going to have to relinquish it to MJF. And I definitely do see that happening. You know, whoever Wardlow beats for the TNT championship. There's a lot of things going on, especially with the TNT championship. Of course, Cody is the current TNT champion. And I honestly, you know, he's definitely going to a heel run with the TNT. I do believe that Cody Rhodes will definitely eventually turn heel during his title reign and eventually just lose to somebody like Hook. I definitely see Hook beating Cody for the TNT championship, considering the fact that the guy is just so over. Same as Wardlow. I think Wardlow is really over too. I think he's getting really popular as well. And he has the makings to be a big star as well. But honestly, there's just a lot of things going on with the TNT championship. So who knows what the hell is going to go on. So after MJF states that, you know, he has to relinquish it to him after he wins the TNT championship, you know, Wardlow's like, what? And then all of a sudden, MJF brings in Smart Mark Sterling, of course, the lawyer or the attorney, whatever, of Jade Cargill, same as MJF. And he basically runs through the whole contract and says, and MJF then states, next week he will start cranking up wins because not only he will be the TNT champion, but he will also be the AEW World Champion. So again, there's a lot of, you know, he is already teasing him wanting to go for the AEW World Championship, and they're doing a slow build regarding this. And you know what? That is great to see, because I've stated in my previous Dynamite reviews that, the guy to beat Hangman Page for the AEW Championship is 100% MJF. MJF needs that mega push, that monster push, because this guy is a major star in the making. And in my opinion, MJF, he's basically a modern day Ric Flair. The guy be showing off everything about how he's rich and all that shit. And his character is just so damn hateable because he is a heel. And why wouldn't you want him as the world champion? Honestly, I wouldn't be against MJF beating Hangman Page for the AEW Championship. Now, Hangman needs a lengthy title run for that, but, who knows? If I was booking this, I would book a match between MJF and Hangman not in Long Island, but I'd book it in a match where MJF is just so hated, where he wins the match and everybody just throws trash all over the ring when he wins the title. You need that type of nuclear heat like that, especially for a guy like MJF. And I do think that we're definitely going to be seeing that come 2022, which is in a couple days, actually. But this year, 2022 is definitely going to be MJF's year. A lot of people are saying that Adam Cole is 100% going to take the title from Hangman. I definitely do see Adam Cole being the AEW champion, but I don't think right now is the case, because I feel like right now AEW is betting high on MJF. But again, this is the beauty of building new stars and building the foundation for your future stars. You got guys like Adam Cole, you got guys like Darby Allin, MJF, Jungle Boy, and Sammy Guevara. That's going to be your future main event scene for the next 15 years in AEW. So honestly, having MJF being the world champion, because I feel like right now, when it comes to Adam Cole's case, they're telling the story of him splitting off from the Elite, and then we're going to have this whole feud, kind of like what we did with the Inner Circle, what we had with the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle this year. I think we're definitely going to have that come 2022 with the Elite and the Undisputed Era. We're definitely having Omega and Cole feud first, and then you'd have Cole, go after the AEW Championship. So that's my view, but MJF is definitely, in my opinion, in 2022, winning the AEW World Championship. That's one of my big predictions for 2022. Tony Schiavone interviews the Lucha Bros, says basically Jurassic Express challenges the Lucha Bros for the AEW Tag Team titles next week on the Superstation on TBS on the Mothership. So we're going to be getting Jurassic Express versus the Lucha Bros for the AEW World Tag Team Championships in Newark, New Jersey at the Prudential Center, which I'm definitely excited for. I think that's going to be a great match. Will we see a title change? Who knows? But I think that's definitely going to be a really good match. The first TBS show is definitely hyped up to be one of their biggest shows ever. And I'm glad that it's in New Jersey. And it's going to be in Newark. I'm 100% excited. I'm attending that show, and probably, most likely, I will be uploading a vlog on my entire day there. I was going to do that back in September, but I never got around doing it. Hopefully, I have more time, so hopefully I'm able to do that here to give you guys my full-on experience at Dynamite. And I'll also be giving you guys my review as well, which I didn't do the last time. But, we're going to be getting a Tag Team Championship match next week, so we got 2 title matches next week. We got 3 title matches. We got the TBS Championship match, we got the AEW World Championship match, and we also got the Tag Team title match. So a lot of championship matches happening next week in Newark. We get Wardlow versus Colin Delaney. I thought, again, this was a squash match. Colin Delaney, of course, if you guys do not know who Colin Delaney is, Colin Delaney was a jobber in WWE back in the WWE version of ECW. If you guys don't remember, he was the guy that constantly lost on television every week, and he was a character on television. I remember him, but he was a jobber. So he's wrestling here against Wardlow. Again, Colin Delaney is enhancement talent or a jobber, and Wardlow is basically the squasher. We get a waistlock by Colin. We get a lariat by Wardlow. He powerbombs Colin. Then he powerbombs him again. He powerbombs him for a 3rd time and then a 4th time. We get a cover, and Wardlow wins the match. And then when Colin gets taken out with the referee, what happens? Sean Spears just comes in and whacks him with the chair in the back, and that's that. All right. We get the Undisputed Era, or I'm not even going to call him the Undisputed Era. I'm still going to call him the Undisputed Era until they get an official name. A lot of people are saying they're going to be called the Undisputed Elite, which I think it's a pretty good name. call them the Undisputed Elite. But right now, I'm going to be calling them the Undisputed Era because there's no official name for them, and 100% Adam Cole is definitely splitting from the Elite. But Cole says that the 5 of them will go down as the greatest group in the history of pro wrestling. Then Kyle O'Reilly wants to talk to Adam Cole. And the Young Bucks are like, nah, yeah, if you want to talk to Adam Cole, you talk to him with us. Then Cole is like, all right, yeah, guys, it's fine. I'm totally fine. I'll talk to him one-on-one. And what I like about this is that when both Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly were talking, and I stated this last week in my Dynamite review, they are keeping continuity from their whole feud that they had all year, all 2021 in NXT. So they're definitely keeping continuity intact. Something that WWE does not know anything about. They don't know anything about continuity. AEW follows WWE continuity more than WWE follows WWE continuity. Like, that is crazy. And you know what? I'm a fan of that. That is what they should do. That is what wrestling companies should do. You always should keep continuity together. No matter what promotion you are in. If a wrestler jumps from one promotion to another and had a bonker-ass feud in the promotion that they once were in, and, that they're currently in, keep that continuity intact. That's what they're doing with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. And you know what? All power to them. That is awesome to see. But, let's be honest. Adam Cole is 100% splitting away from the Elite. Once Omega returns, the game is going to be changed. And the feud throughout 2022 is going to be the Undisputed Era versus the Elite. And also Kenny Omega versus Adam Cole. And for a fact, those matches are going to be bonker-ass matches. Because Adam Cole is a star in the making, and Kenny Omega is the best wrestler in the world. Those guys are going to tear the house down come 2022. I guarantee you that. All right, we got a Dan Lambert segment with the Men of the Year, that being Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. I'm a big fan of Dan Lambert. I think his promos are really hilarious, but also really, factual. Dan Lambert, again, he's great at what he does, and he knows how to generate that heat when it comes to wrestling. He just knows how to generate that heat. So I'm going to run through his promo. He says his MMA business is a full-time job. He thought it would, he thought that coming to AEW, he came to AEW as an old school fan and says that there's nothing cool about Cody Rhodes and his entourage. Arn Anderson was one of his favorites, and seeing Arn with Cody makes him sad. Here's a guy trying to make a couple dollars sucking up to another guy who sucks up to the main guy. The guy used to be a horseman. Now he's just a whore. That was actually pretty funny. And says, that's the perfect segue to Brandy. And if that's her real name, she is the first Brandy that she has ever known that wasn't a stripper. Again, Dan Lambert is a freaking savage. Then Ethan Page grabs the mic and says that that's not currently a stripper because she is now a wrestler, and then proceeds to mock her and laugh. Then Dan says that they can't come out here all the time with stripper jokes because then it would get very old and very tired very quickly. Kind of like what happened to Brandy the last couple of years. Then he proceeds to talk about Cody Rhodes and says he knows how hard he tried to make it in this business. He talks about the things that he does, like going through flaming tables and all the crazy other shit that Cody would do to get himself over. Then he even goes so far as to tattoo a Transformers logo on the side of his neck that even Mike Tyson thinks looks stupid. So again, every time when a heel just talks shit about Cody Rhodes, they always gotta mention that tattoo on the side of his neck, which I'm not gonna lie. I mean, why would you put a tattoo of your logo on the side of your neck? I mean, come on, that is kind of a dumb decision. But whatever. And then Dan Lambert proceeds to mock AEW fans, saying AEW fans may be idiots, but even an idiot doesn't like the shit sandwich that he is shoving down their throats. Again, of course, mentioning the fact that Cody has been getting booze lately. Then Brandy Rhodes comes out, and she calls Dan Lambert a less talented version of Paul Heyman. Bruh, I'm not gonna lie, I would actually love to see an interaction between Paul Heyman and Dan Lambert. I think it'd be great television, in my opinion. I think it'd be really, really good television. But Dan after that replies he prefers Jim Cornette, which was hilarious. Then Dan says that the sound of her voice makes him feel like he'd want to go back to the street fight that he had at Full Gear, getting his ass kicked by Chris Jericho. Brandy then asks him, when was the last time he got beat up by a woman and didn't have to pay for him? Because she would whoop that ass for free. Then Dan says that he is a black belt and says, let's go. And then Brandy says, I'm a black bitch, so let's go. Both are about to fight. Dustin comes out, but Ethan Page attacks Dustin from behind. Then, after that, they leave. All right. What are my thoughts on this segment? Of course, this is coming off the heels of Cody basically beating Sammy Guevara last Friday on Rampage for the TNT Championship, which got a huge ass negative reaction from the fans. And as you guys know, Cody has been getting boos lately for the past couple of weeks, ever since his feud with Malachi Black. I don't even want to say ever since after his feud with Malachi Black, because he started to get that negative reaction, I would say, starting around Double or Nothing. You know, if you guys don't remember his match with Anthony Ogogo, I said it on my Double or Nothing review. The match that Cody had with Anthony Ogogo was arguably the worst match on Double or Nothing. I just did not give a single shit about that match. But, you know, Cody has been getting a negative reaction. And, you know, with him winning the TNT Championship, again, he's already, like, you know, I think he's definitely turning heel. And, you know, Cody is not stupid. You know, Cody is absolutely not stupid. He knows the reaction that he's getting, and he's just eating that shit up. And knowing that, you know, he's basically working the crowd. And I feel like he's definitely working the crowd. But, I mean, honestly, I don't know what the hell is going to happen when it comes to Cody, but, you know, we're going to see in the coming few weeks where they're going to take Cody, and I definitely do think Cody is 100% going to turn full-blown heel. I don't think this is a situation in which AEW is completely ignoring the fan base, saying, you know, oh, they're not pulling a WWE. Like, AEW's not pulling a WWE, in which, you know, AEW has a completely different philosophy than WWE. WWE, when it came to Roman Reigns, they constantly tried to book Roman Reigns to be the top guy back in 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018, and the fans constantly rejected him. It got so bad to the point where they started to plant fans in the arena, fake fans in the arena in the front rows, and constantly going to that section, like pointing the camera at that section with them chanting Roman, Roman, Roman. That's how desperate WWE got. This is not the case with AEW. I definitely do see AEW having a plan intact when it comes to Cody Rhodes, and I definitely do see them turning Cody Rhodes heel, because at the end of the day, AEW is for the fans, and they're not stupid. The people running AEW, look, AEW does some dumb things, but the creative is not dumb, unlike WWE creative. WWE creative is one of the... Bro, they have 27, like 30 people writing a wrestling show. Like, look, the key difference between AEW and WWE is WWE has writers, AEW has legitimate bookers. That is the key difference right there, and the difference is bright and day when you watch both shows. And when it comes to Cody Rhodes' case, Cody Rhodes is definitely turning heel, period. And, you know, they've been teasing it all over social media, like it's happening. It's definitely happening. I definitely do see that happening. And this is not a case in which AEW is ignoring the fan base and being like, no, we're going to keep Cody Rhodes as a babyface because we want to, and it's our initiative. That is not going to be the case at all. If this was WWE, look, if Cody Rhodes was in the WWE and WWE was pushing Cody Rhodes to the moon and the fans started to reject him, they definitely would shove Cody Rhodes down our throats and really not turn him heel. They would just keep having him as a babyface, because at the end of the day, WWE don't give a shit what you want. But this is AEW. Things are different there. Now, about this segment, to me, I honestly feel like, you know, when Brandy came out, I definitely did hear a couple of boos in the crowd. And you know what? Again, you know, there was a little bit of a negative reaction. But I will say this whole segment was kind of entertaining to watch. I'm not going to lie. Dan Lambert is always entertaining to watch on Dynamite. That's just my opinion. All right. Here's one match that I really want to talk about, and that is the semifinal round of the TBS Championship tournament, the winner advancing to the finals to face Ruby Soho next week on TBS. That being Thunder Rosa going up against Jade Carguil. All right, so I'm gonna get this off my chest right now. Thunder Rosa, in my opinion, should have been the one to beat Jade Cargill. I felt like that would make more sense than Jade Cargill beating Thunder Rosa. Now, I'm not saying anything against Jade. I think Jade is going to be a top star. I 100% see that. But I feel like right now she is not ready, and I feel like she's a little green still. But she's getting there. I thought Jade Cargill winning this match was a dumb decision. because of the fact that there is a story already played out when it comes to Thunder Rosa and Ruby Soho. You guys backtrack back at All Out at the Casino Battle Royale. They were the final two there, and it created that whole unpredictability nature. And with this match between if you had Thunder Rosa win, and you had her face Ruby Soho next week, you'd definitely create that unpredictability nature. And not only that, they'd put on a really good match, in my opinion. I think the match would tear the house down. But having Jade Cargill win, in my opinion, I thought that was kind of the wrong decision. What I would have done was I would have had Thunder Rosa go over in this match and have one of either Thunder Rosa or Ruby Soho win the TBS Championship. Honestly, it's a win-win situation between the two choices. And then they can have a lengthy title reign, but then you can slowly build up to Jade Cargill wanting that TBS Championship, eventually having a match on a pay-per-view in the next couple of months, and then just completely annihilate the babyface. And then Jade Cargill would win the TBS Championship and be the second ever TBS champion and have a really good, strong, lengthy title run with it. And then that can basically further elevate Jade Cargill to the title picture scene. That's what I would do. But AEW didn't go that route, and instead they had Jade Cargill go over, and I thought, in my opinion, that was a dumb decision. But I'm going to go through the match. Thunder Rosa came out in badass X23 ring gear, which looked awesome. But the match starts. We get a low drop kick by Rosa, and I will say, during the whole match, Thunder Rosa made Jade Cargill look like $1 million. She put her over like $1 million. Really, she put her over really well. We get a low drop kick by Rosa. We get a cannonball by Rosa on the outside on Mark Sterling. So the beginning stages of this match, a lot of the stuff that was happening was on the outside. Jade takes Rosa out on the outside. Both fight it out on the outside. Rosa tries to hit a crossbody, but Jade catches Rosa and hits a backbreaker. We get a shotgun dropkick on the knee of Jade. Everything is happening on the outside. Jade then sends Rosa to the post. Both finally get back in the ring. Jade misses. We get a back elbow. We get a right hand by Rosa. We get knees by Jade. Then Rosa grabs the knee of Jade. Then we get a dragon screw, by Rosa. Rosa goes to the top, but Jade gets up. We get a pump kick by Jade. Once we're back from commercial break, Rosa works on Jade in the corner. We get a shotgun dropkick in the corner by Rosa. Then another running dropkick again in the corner by Rosa. Rosa then is targeting the knee of Jade. She keeps targeting the knee. Jade then picks up Rosa and then hits a Samoan drop. At this point, Jade is selling her left leg. Then we get a knees by Jade on Rosa in the corner. We get a backbreaker by Jade and then takes Rosa down. Then Jade keeps selling her knee. Then Rosa lands on her feet. We get a backbreaker by Rosa. Then Rosa applies the figure 4 leg lock. Then Jade gets her hand on the bottom rope. Mark gives her water. Then Mark gets in the face of the referee. Rosa tries to apply the figure 4, but someone out of nowhere, a hooded person, takes out Rosa on the outside. Jade hits her finisher and cover. 1, 2, 3. Jade Cargill advances to the finals to face Ruby Soho next week in New Jersey on the Dynamite debut of TBS. Again, I thought this wasn't the right decision to make. I'd had Thunder Rosa win the match because we'd get a really good match between Thunder Rosa and Ruby Soho. I think right now it's not Jade's time. Jade is definitely getting there, though. I mean, she is 100%. She's definitely getting there. But honestly, I think it would further elevate Jade if she took the belt from one of the baby faces, that being either Ruby Soho or Thunder Rosa after their long title reign. That is just my opinion, but who knows what AEW is going to do. I will put my trust in them. But then after the match, what happens? The attacker then that attacked Rosa before attacks Rosa again. And who is the attacker? The attacker is none other than Mercedes Martinez. So holy shit, it's Mercedes Martinez. Of course, she was in NXT previously, but then she was a victim of one of the releases. So now she's part of AEW. And I will say this, Mercedes Martinez is really good. If you guys haven't seen Mercedes Martinez, check her out. She's actually really good. She's finally in AEW. That is great to see. Then Ruby Soho comes in for the save. And then Mercedes Martinez, Jade, and everybody else retreats. So, yeah, we're going to be getting Jade Cargill versus Ruby Soho next week on Dynamite for the TBS Championship. I think the match will be really good, but in my opinion, I think it would have been a much, much better match in ring-wise and probably story-wise as well regarding, Ruby Soho and Thunder Rosa. That is just my opinion. I think it would be a much entertaining and much better match in my opinion. And Jade Cargill, in my opinion, look, I'm a fan of Jade Cargill. I think she's amazing. I think she's great, but I think right now I don't think it's her time. I think it's definitely, I believe she'd be the one to like take the title away from like either a Thunder Rosa or Ruby Soho, and then that further elevate her, and then it basically would raise her stock as well, in my opinion. And then Jay would have like a lengthy title run with the TBS Championship, like that could further elevate her, in my opinion. But right now, I don't think it's. I thought it was not a good decision, in my opinion. We get a video package for Riho and Britt Baker. Of course, they're going to be wrestling January 8th at Battle of the Belts next Saturday. Which, speaking of Battle of the Belts, I mean, like there hasn't number one that was the only match that was announced for Battle of the Belts. Now, granted, Battle of the Belts is only a 1 hour show, but it's going to be a live show. But at the same time, I mean, like there hasn't been any real hype for Battle of the Belts. I don't know what is going on with that. I mean, they need to put more emphasis on Battle of the Belts. Maybe we'll get a couple of announcements, maybe on Rampage, maybe a couple matches. I mean, there's not a lot of things going to be happening on that show, considering the fact that it's only a 1 hour show, which I'm kind of disappointed on. I feel like Battle of the Belts should be at least a 2 hour show, like a 2 hour special, but it's only going to be a 1 hour special on TNT, which is kind of disappointing in my opinion. All right, we get a CM Punk segment for the first time in Daly's Place. And I will say this, it's great seeing CM Punk for the first time in Daly's Place. I think it was really awesome to see him. Says he's never been to Daly's Place. He asks where Jim Ross is and says it's awesome to see JR back. He says he's all about giving the people their flowers when they deserve it. Says this has been a home for AEW. And being here at Daly's Place, it gets him thinking about Brody Lee. He sat at home and saw the tribute show, and it made him want to come here. He got thinking about maybe someone that is worth his time. Then he proceeds to talk about MJF and basically says that MJF is a Twitter troll. Says he hides behind a keyboard and also Dax and Cash. He talks about how MJF laced up his running shoes and says MJF is done with him. And says CM Punk then says he's fine with that. Says he got to team with Sting and Darby Allin. They beat both MJF and FTR. Says that MJF is scared, and Punk is looking forward to bigger and better things. MJF talks about being the AEW World Champion, and Punk says he wants to be champion too. There's beginnings and there's endings. Says MJF is a waste of time, and says that he is a bigger waste of con money than Tim Tebow, which was hilarious, by the way. He never wanted to mess with MJF. But he found out the hard way that on this mic, in this ring, and even in commentary, nobody can touch him. Of course, that was a little nod to the pipe bomb that he said way back in 2011. And says that if he wants to climb that ladder and get some W's for AEW Gold, then sooner rather than later, you will see him in this ring. And says it will be a real shame if someone interfered with his quest for gold, and the segment ends. Overall thoughts, this was a really good CM Punk segment. CM Punk always delivers on the microphone. And I do feel like we're eventually going to be getting CM Punk versus MJF, and maybe in AEW Revolution, maybe the next, of course, that's their next pay-per-view. Who knows what's going to happen? I feel like MJF and CM Punk will definitely be a match better off for pay-per-view rather than giving it away on free television. That is my opinion. But this was a really good segment by MJF. I mean, not by MJF, by CM Punk. And, hopefully down the line, we'll definitely get a match between the two. We get a backstage segment between Ricky Starks and Hobbs. They basically put over Hobb, and then they talk about Dante Martin screwing over Team Taz, all that stuff. Sammy Guevara comes out with the signs during the picture-in-picture break. Then, once we're back from break, we get Brian Pillman Jr. Basically, he cuts a promo talking about Malachi Black. Says he does not remember what happened last week. Says it's his turn to go to the House of Black, and says next week we will see a new Brian Pillman Jr. Then the lights go out. Malachi Black then points to the ring. Nothing is there, and then kind of, Malachi Black is playing those mind games with Brian Pillman Jr. So, yeah. We get the card for Rampage. So the card for Rampage is this. By the way, Rampage already happened. It was already taped last night. Of course, Dynamite, for most weeks at least, Rampage and Dynamite are filmed in the same night. So for Rampage, the card is Cody Rhodes versus Ethan Page for the TNT Championship. I definitely do see Cody retaining. Darby Allin versus Anthony Bowens. And Anna Jay and Ty Conti versus Penelope Ford and the Bunny in a street fight. Now, I heard really good things about the street fight. I heard that match was like, that absolutely blew everybody's expectations last night. I'm definitely going to watch that match. If everybody is saying that this match was really good on Twitter, I'm definitely going to watch. I'm not, granted, I watch Rampage every week, but like, it's a taped show, so the experience is a little different. But if this match is everything that people on Twitter are saying, I'm definitely excited for this match. Of course, the card for next week's Dynamite on TBS. Wrestling is finally back on the mothership on the Superstation TBS. Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page 2 for the AEW Championship. Again, that match is going to be freaking epic. If, those guys absolutely tore the house down at Winter is Coming, and who knows, they're definitely going to top that next week in Newark for in this match. And, of course, there's going to be judges for this match as well. We get Malachi Black versus Brian Billman Jr., which, of course, you're going to have Malachi Black go over. Jade Cargill versus Ruby Soho in the finals of the TBS Championship Tournament. And also Jurassic Express versus the Lucha Bros for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. So, again, we got a stacked card for next week's TBS debut, and I definitely do see a lot of big things happening next week. I'm 100% excited for this show. There's a lot of surprises happening, and especially, AEW is hyping up this TBS debut really strong next week, and I'm just like, I really want to go. Like, I'm going. I just I wish it was today, because like I really want to go, and I'm going. Like, I'm going. I already got my ticket, everything. I'm just ecstatic and excited for this show next week. We get the Acclaimed talking about the match that Anthony Bowens is going to have with Darby Allin. Bowens basically states that he will kick his My Chemical Romance looking ass, which is hilarious. And then Sting and Darby cut a little mini promo, and Darby says that he is ready and blah, blah, blah. All right, we get a video package with Anna Jay and Ty Conti versus Penelope Ford and the Bunny. Again, this match is a match I'm excited for because a lot of people are saying that these women tore the house down last night. And it was a really bloody match considering the fact that it was a street fight. All right, we got the main event of the evening with the Undisputed Elites, or Adam Cole and Red Dragon, that being Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, the original three members of the Undisputed Era, going up against Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. What are my overall thoughts on this match? I thought this match was really good. This match was a really, really fun match to watch. Kyle O'Reilly looked great for his first match in AEW. It is so crazy that we see Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly all in Daly's place, let alone AEW. It's crazy that we were seeing them in Daly's place. Like, that is just shocking to me. I can't believe WWE had, the balls to, not re-sign these guys. Well, Adam Cole didn't re-sign. Same thing as Kyle O'Reilly, but Bobby Fish was one of the people that actually got released. Go show you what they all thought about these guys. These guys are just amazing. But again, this match was really good. Kyle O'Reilly and Chuck Taylor start. We get a side headlock by Chuck. We get a kick by Kyle. We get Undisputed chants. Yes, the crowd was chanting Undisputed in Jacksonville at Daly's place. That was just really awesome to see. Trent tags in. Both exchange shots and kicks. We get a couple of chops by Trent. We get a knee by Kyle. And then we get another knee by Kyle. We get double boots by Trent and Kyle. Fish tags in. Cassidy tags in. He throws the glasses. Cassidy with his amazing, and I mean amazing, kicks. Then we get a roll-up by Cassidy, but we get a near fall. Fish the legal man, and we get a couple of kicks by Bobby Fish. Cassidy puts his hands in his pockets, but then Cole just takes him out. Bro, every time when Cassidy just puts his hands in his pockets, it just pisses off Adam Cole, and that is just entertaining television to me. That's just entertaining to watch. We got a senton. Cole tags in. Trent tags in. He works on Cole. We got a double team by the Best Friends on Adam Cole. Then we got running elbows by the Best Friends. Then we got a double shoulder tackle by both Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta. Red Dragon then get taken to the outside. Best Friends try to hug, but then Cole comes in to interfere. Then we get a Dragon Screw by Kyle O'Reilly. We get Cole is in control over Chuck Taylor during the commercial break. Once we're back from commercial, Kyle O'Reilly tags in, works on Chuck during the break, and then Fish tags in during the break, continues to work on Chuck. So basically, the heels, the Undisputed Era, is in control during the commercial break. Once we're back from break, Chuck sends Kyle to the guardrail. We get a cover and a near fall when Cole gets back in the ring. Then we get a super kick by Cole on Orange Cassidy. Kyle tags in. We get a boot by Chuck on Kyle. Then Kyle gets taken to the outside. Chuck at this point is the legal man. Then we get a guillotine attempt by Kyle O'Reilly, but Trent powers out. We get a back elbow by Trent. We get a tornado DDT by Trent. We get a cover and a near fall. We get a couple of kicks by Kyle O'Reilly. Then we get a couple of kicks by Cole. Bobby Fish tags in as well. Then Fish takes Trent to the corner. We get a double team attempt by both members of Red Dragon. We get a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker by Fish on Trent Beretta. Then the leg drop on Kyle on Trent. Then we get a cover and a near fall. Then Trent hits a double stomp. Cassidy tags in. We get a crossbody off the top. We get a suicide dive by Cassidy. Then hits the stunt dog billionaire on Adam Cole. Then Kyle O'Reilly hits the DDT. We get a double team attempt by both Kyle and Bobby Fish. Then we get a cover by Bobby Fish and a near fall. Fish tags in. Kyle picks up Cassidy. We get a super kick by Adam Cole after that. Then Red Dragon hits the freaking high-low. We get a cover by Cole. We get a near fall. Chuck comes in. Then we get a forearm by Fish. Trent works on Fish on the ramp. We get a thrust kick by Chuck. We get a super kick by Cole on the ramp. Then Adam Cole tries to go for the Panama Sunrise, but then Chuck counters into a back body drop. So Chuck basically saved his ass from getting hit with Panama Sunrise on the elevated ramp. Then Chuck takes out Red Dragon. Then Trent hits a spear on Cole on the outside. Then Cole's in the ring. We get a diving DDT by Cassidy. We get a cover and a near fall. Chuck then hits a pile driver. Then Trent hits a pile driver on Cole. We get a beach break on Cole by Cassidy. We get a cover into near fall when Red Dragon interfere. We get kicks by Kyle on Cassidy. Cassidy counters the leg of Kyle. We get a knee by Kyle. And then by accident, Kyle O'Reilly, boots Adam Cole. Then we get a roll-up by Cassidy. We get a near fall. We get a rising knee strike by Chuck Taylor. Trent hits a lariat. Then we get a double team, half and half by both the best friends. They both hug it out. Of course, they got to give the people what they want, as Excalibur would state. Brandon Cutler then comes out. Best friends then take out Brandon. The Young Bucks then come out. They super kick the best friends when the referee is not looking. Then Red Dragon takes out Chuck and win the match. The Bucks and Cole then shout at Kyle O'Reilly. Of course, Cole looks pissed after that kick by Kyle O'Reilly, which was an accident, by the way. And again, there's a little bit of turmoil going on with the Elite. But honestly, I definitely do see Adam Cole turning on the original members of the Elite once Kenny Omega comes back. But overall thoughts on this match, I thought this was a really good main event to close out Dynamite, the final Dynamite on TNT before they move to TBS. I thought this was a really fun match. It was great seeing, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish and Adam Cole all together. It is so crazy that they're all in the same ring in a different wrestling promotion. Who would have thought that in 2019 that the Undisputed Era would be in AEW in just 2 years? Let alone having guys like CM Punk and Bryan Danielson on the roster. Like, that is insane, man. But hey, man, that is AEW for you. That was my AEW Dynamite review, the New Year's Smash review, the final Dynamite on TNT. Overall thoughts on this show, I thought this was a pretty good show. I'm 100% excited to see what goes down next week. I'm definitely excited, bro. I'm 100% excited to see what goes down because there's a lot of possibilities that could happen next week at the Prudential Center. And I'm going to film a vlog for you guys, and I'm going to show you guys my experience at the Prudential Center. It's going to be great to see. Be on the lookout for my day one predictions tomorrow. And also, I'm going to be giving you guys, of course, my SmackDown and Rampage reviews on Saturday and my day one review on Sunday. I don't know when I'm going to be uploading that vlog that I'm planning to do, showing my Dynamite experience, but I will let you guys know in the later future. But this was my Dynamite review. Be on the lookout for more videos from this channel. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications, and be on the lookout for my future reviews. And this is Broken Havoc from the Broken Havoc podcast, signing out.